had fun, but I gotta run make a video for my YouTube channel, but I should be back on in a little bit. Alright, see ya. What's up guys, Charlie Hustle here, and I have a video for you today about gaming headsets. Now, I'm going to try to keep this very basic, go over some of the things that maybe reasons why you want to consider a gaming headset if you haven't already, and then also explore some of the basics of what you should be looking for in your purchases. As far as getting specific, sorry about that, about any one particular brand, not going to do that in this video. Maybe we'll follow up with another video. I'll do a more specific review about these A40s. I will try to throw in some very basic recommendations at the end, but like I said, I want to keep this quick and concise. So here we go. Gaming headset. What is it? Well, it's basically a set of headphones, fancy headphones, with a microphone attached to it, so that way you can chat in the game. The advantages that they offer are many. Number one, privacy. If you've ever played on a TV system with regular speakers, you know that the house or the apartment where you're playing is going to be filled with gunshots and grenades going off. When I started playing Call of Duty, my wife felt like every night she was falling asleep in a war zone with all the grenades and machine gun fire going off. I think she started to develop post-traumatic stress, so I decided to run out and get a headset, and that's where I started. Number two, there's a competitive advantage as well, and that's a little thing called auto-locating, or more popularly known as sound whoring. I don't like to use that term. I find it a little bit crass, so just stick with me on this auto-locating thing. What it is just that. You're using your ears, your auditory sense, to find people around you in the game. What you're able to do by using a headset and having some knowledge of the maps is be able to tell when people are sneaking up behind you based on the sound that their footsteps make. And it's very easy to find that sound with a good pair of headsets. So they do offer a competitive advantage as well. So, what should you consider when making your buying decision? Number one, lay out a budget for yourself. Decide how much you want to spend on this. Now, this is going to be based on a couple things. Number one is your income. I mean, there's only so much to go around, right? Number two, it's going to be how much you game. So, if you game a lot, you're probably going to want to spend a little bit more on a headset. If you're only a couple hours a week here or there, well, you can probably get away with something a little bit less. I always like to look at things by how much money I'm spending by how much time I'm going to get out of it. For example, let's think about a trip to the movies. Now, I think tickets are $8 to $10. I don't know. I haven't gone in a while. But let's just say $20 rounded out when you figure in popcorn and gas and all that stuff to go see a movie. And you're getting hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours. Let's say 2 hours. So 2 hours, $20, $10 an hour for your entertainment if you go to see a feature movie. Now let's think about a gaming headset. Let's say you splurge and get a real nice one for $200, and maybe you play 2 hours a night. So that's 5 days a week. Maybe take off on the weekends. Probably play more on the weekends, right? But let's go conservative here. So you're figuring about 10 hours a week. So in a given week, you're looking at $20 an hour for your entertainment. But hopefully your gaming headset's going to last you longer than a week. When you take that when you take that 10 hours a week and then multiply it by 52 weeks a year, 520 hours, $200 divided by 520 hours, you're talking about fractions of a cent you're actually paying per hour. It really breaks down to some really nice economics if you're going to be spending a lot of time in this headset to really invest in something nice. So, something to be thinking about there. If it takes it, I think you're looking at maybe $3 or $4 a week is what you're looking at for a headset if you spend $200. So use that figure to make your decisions. Now, number two, comfort. You want to find something that's going to be comfortable on your head if you're going to be spending a lot of time in it. And that all depends on the size of your head. I actually found Trittons to be really tight on my head. I have a bit of a large melon here. I wear a size of, what is this thing? I wear a 7.5 hat, and as you can see, it's not exactly gangster style there. So I got a big head. the Trittons were tight. The Astros fit pretty good. Now, audio quality, once you get above a certain tier, they're all going to be very sufficient audio quality. The audio in our games isn't really all that sophisticated. It's not like you're listening to a super high fidelity record or something like that. It's video games, it's gunshots, it's grenades, explosions. you don't really need that much. But one thing to look for is like a large driver, which is what they call the speaker inside the headphone. I believe most of the higher end ones call for a 50 millimeter headset, or I'm sorry, a driver in their headset. So something to look for there. The bigger the better usually goes for the drivers. Number 2 is durability, and this all comes down to how you're going to use your headset. And this comes down to your setup. Are you going to be taking it from your house and moving it around, taking it to friends' houses? Are you going to be using it for other purposes outside of gaming? Are you an MLG pro who's going to be traveling with this every week? Or are you just a person who has a desk setup, a nice simple desk setup where it's always in one place and never moves around a lot? So if you have a reasonably solid setup that doesn't move too much, you can get away with a cheaper headset just by sacrificing a little durability, because you can probably have a better opportunity to take care of that. And the last thing is whether you want to go wireless or not. Now again, this depends on your setup. If, for example, when I first started out, I was using our home theater setup in our den to play my games. And that, every night I would have to wrap up the cords to my headset and my controller and stow them all away, so that way when my son, who was 2 at the time, when he would come into the den in the morning to play with his toys and watch his cartoons, he wouldn't go tearing cords out of things and destroying my whole setup. So that got to be a major hassle, and that's why I started looking at wireless. So let's get into some of the options out there. As far as console goes, I consider there to be 3 main competitors in gaming headsets. There's more out there. There's some brands from the PC realm that are moving over into console, but let's concentrate on these 3 because these are the ones that you'll hear a lot about. Tritton, Turtle Beach, and Astro. Now, when I first got into console gaming, it was clear and present that Astro was the king, Tritton was sort of the second tier, and Turtle Beach was the entry level. Not so anymore. Everyone wants to be the king. They've all got good, high-end, near $300 offerings out there on the table for you to select from. And they've all got pretty decent mid-ranges, and then some even offer the lower tier. Now, if you're on a budget, a stern budget, Turtle Beach is probably the way to go. It seems like their low-end headsets offer the best value. However, you're going to make some sacrifices in durability. Especially, and when I say value, especially on wireless. If you're looking for a wireless headset and that's something you need, and you're on a budget, look no further than Turtle Beach's. Right now on the market, outside of the Turtle Beach wireless option, the only real way to go is Astro. Now, Tritton has some new Xbox code-branded headsets coming out. They're going to be that are going to be wireless. Don't know, haven't hit the mark yet with them, so I can't speak about them. But as of right now, outside of the A40s, which are sort of at the top of the heap, you're looking at $300 around for a purchase of those. Below that, your only real option as far as wireless goes is Turtle Beach. Now, there's some things to be concerned about there. Number 1, the Turtle Beaches use AA batteries, I believe, in all their headsets. So make sure you have a good recharger ready to go and some spare batteries, because every person I've played with the Turtle Beaches eventually is, hold on, I got to change out the batteries on my headset. And it happens. So make sure you're ready for that, and make sure you have some rechargeables so you're not killing the environment and running up extra cost for yourself. Number 2, like I said, is the durability. They're a little bit fragile. Best Buy, every Best Buy that I've ever been into has a setup where they have some Turtle Beaches set there that you can demo. Whether or not you want to put them on your head or not is up to you. Me, I don't like to do that. It's kind of a hygiene thing. Anyhow, but you can at least pick them up and feel them and, kind of shake them around, see what they're like. To me, they feel very fragile. The third thing that I got for watching out with Turtle Beaches is the microphone. If you're playing in a noisy environment, I would seriously suggest looking at another headset, because their mics tend to pick up everything. I mean, you can hear discussions and conversations going on people's mics outside of their own. It's kind of distracting and could be embarrassing for you depending on what's going on in the background. So then we move into the Turtle Beaches. From the Turtle Beaches we move into the Trittons. Tritton does offer some low-end offerings to compete with the Turtle Beach, but I really feel like the Turtle Beach dominates that sub $100 category. From, I would say, the $100 to $200 category, or $1 to $250, somewhere in there, Tritton is the king. And that one headset actually would be the AX720s, and I recommend them 100 times over the AX Pros. In my opinion, the AX Pros got a little bit of a gimmick going on. You see, what they offer is they say they pack, I think, maybe 3 or 4 speakers into each one of these headsets. They use a smaller driver, pack them in there, and then each one of those is supposed to provide location of sound, right? But if you think about it, they're only separated by fractions of an inch inside this tiny headset here. How is your ear going to be able to distinguish that? The truth of the matter is it's still all done with the Dolby digital decoding and how the two main speakers are balanced. It's really a gimmick in my opinion, and you get just as good of a headset for a whole lot cheaper if you look at the AX720. So, speaking of that, if you need any evidence, go pick up Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, or even earlier than that, let's say the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper. Back then, they were doing auto-locating. You can hear the sound moving around in 3 dimensions around your head, no matter what sort of crappy headset you have on. So that should be proof enough that 2 speakers are enough to accomplish what you need. So don't get confused as far as the gimmicks go. In my opinion, the AX720s are every bit as good sounding as the Astros. So why spend the extra money? Well, number one, durability is still a bit of an issue with the Trittons. You see a lot of people, they have a very similar expansion device as these Sonys, only there's not as much flexibility in this top part with the Trittons, and so you'll often see breaks there. You'll see a lot of people with tape wrapped around them. It happens if you're not careful with them. The second is, like I said, if you have a large head, they can be really tight. There's just not a whole lot of give in that plastic structure that sits around there. So that brings us to the Astro and where I ended up. I actually purchased the AX720 before I invested in the Astros. I went with the Astros from the 720s only because I really wanted the wireless. I could have dealt with the tightness. I was sort of getting used to it, and they were sort of starting to stretch out. But I went mainly for the wireless, and here's the wireless mix amp. As you can see, you're saying, dude, it's not so wireless. Like, you got cord hanging from your headset and this and that. Well, this is actually wireless to the box that hooks up to your Xbox. So there's a wireless broadcaster, and this is the wireless receiver. Your headset plugs into this, your controller plugs into that. So what you can do is you can slip this on your belt. There's actually a belt clip there. So you slip this little guy on your belt, and you can walk all over your room or your house and still hear what's going on in the game. You may, if you have a wired controller like me, need to unplug your controller, but it at least gives me, when I go on like a beer run downstairs, it gives me a chance to hear when the lobby is about to start, so I know when I need to run back upstairs to grab the controller. So some of the things that make this more expensive, and in my opinion worth it if you need these features, is they're really durable. I mean, show me another one you want to do that with. As you can see, everything's built with screws. These foam things in here are replaceable, so that when you sweat them all up, it's good to go. And then also the microphone is very good about not picking up background noise. I can have music just blaring on my computer while I'm over on this screen here playing the Xbox, and no one hears it except for me. So they're really designed with the MLG Pro in mind. If you don't need those features, then you probably don't need them. You can save yourself a whole lot of money. So in wrapping it up, what you want to look for is set your budget. Do you need wireless? Don't you need wireless? Decide how much comfort you're going to need, how much time you're going to spend in these, and then also what sort of needs are you going to need to address with durability. So that's all I got as far as headsets for now. Maybe we'll do a video where I get more in depth with these Astros, because I am really impressed with these. If you got the money, spend it on these. If you don't, the AX720s, and that's it. If you got any questions, post them in the comments. I love interacting with you guys. I've loved what we've had going on so far in our other videos, and be sure to check those out. I've posted a couple Call of Duty videos this past week. I have some more coming up, and I actually have some Halo gameplay coming up as well. I'm very new at Halo. I actually have my first game of Halo recorded, so you guys can all laugh at my failure there, and maybe watch me grow. I'm hoping to get some let's say, Halo experienced people on the channel to try to help me out and coach me, so you guys can watch me grow and evolve from just a single game Call of Duty player into a more well-rounded player as far as Halo goes, in preparation for Halo 4, which is coming out this year and should be a big release. So once again, this has been Charlie Hustle, and I hope you've enjoyed the video.